Get ready for your weekly dose of pixie dust with Disney Coast to Coast.
Hey folks, and welcome to Disney Coast to Coast, the ultimate unofficial Disney fan podcast. I'm Jeff DePauli, and in today's House of Mouse headlines, we got opening dates for Star Wars Galaxy's Edge on both coasts, plus lots of additional news from the Disney shareholders meeting. That and so much more, so let's get to it.
Hear the latest news from the Walt Disney Company in today's House of Mouse headlines.
This past week was the annual Disney shareholders meeting where we got some new information. The biggest news to come out of there was the opening dates of Star Wars Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland and Walt Disney World, both opening sooner than expected. At Disneyland, Galaxy's Edge will open on May 31st, and at Walt Disney World it will open on August 29th. The August date for Disney's Hollywood Studios was especially shocking because we had originally been told that it would be late fall, which could mean up until December 20th. It sounds like they are well ahead of schedule in Florida. Along with the opening dates, we also got some more information about what to expect. We learned that the land will be opening with only one of its 2 attractions complete. We'll need to wait a bit longer until an undisclosed date to experience the big attraction, Rise of the Resistance. This was a surprise to me as I wasn't expecting the land to open in 2 phases, but it makes sense. First off, the attraction seems like a massive project and therefore is probably a bit behind schedule, and I'm sure they don't want to delay the land's opening. Secondly, I'm sure the Walt Disney Company is concerned about the large crowds expected when this land opens. The crowds will still be huge, but this may dissuade some people from showing up on opening day if they're traveling from a different state. They may just want to wait until both rides are complete. And on top of that, if folks do come on opening day, you can bet that they'll be buying a second ticket to the park once Rise of the Resistance opens. We also learned that for a period of time, if you plan on visiting Batuu at Disneyland Park, you'll need to make a free reservation online just to access the land. The way around this is to book a night at a Disneyland Resort hotel where you'll be guaranteed access. For Disney's Hollywood Studios, currently there's no plans for a reservation system, but the land will be open during extra magic hours at Walt Disney World, so you can gain that benefit if you're staying at a Walt Disney World Resort hotel. In addition to all of this, we learned that when the land initially opens, there will be no Fast Pass, Fast Pass Plus, or Max Pass options available. I'm actually really happy about this, as it should cut down the standby wait times pretty considerably. It'll be very interesting to watch all of this unfold. I'm most curious to see how quickly admission tickets to Galaxy's Edge in Disneyland will disappear. It'll be a real bummer if you purchase a ticket to go to Disneyland, but then never gain access to Galaxy's Edge because they've run out. There is no information yet as to whether or not this is something you'll be booking in advance, or if it's a day of situation. Also at the shareholder meeting, we learned some new information about Tomorrowland during the Q&A portion. Bob Iger had this to say: "We've been working with the Imagineers to consider a number of different concepts for Tomorrowland. They've got some great plans that we recently reviewed, but nothing that we're ready to announce at this point. But expect that in the years ahead, there will be a lot of Tomorrowland activity. A lot of Tomorrowland activity tomorrow." When someone asked about a tribute to Dave Smith, the founder of the Walt Disney Archives who recently passed away, the idea of a possible window dedication on Main Street USA was not rejected. Walt Disney Company CEO Bob Iger said, well, that's interesting. I don't know specifically whether there are plans for a Dave Smith window, but if there aren't, it's a good idea. It's a very good idea." And when Mr. Iger was asked about what would happen with the name 20th Century Fox, he had this to say: "The company itself will be the Walt Disney Company, but there will be businesses within the company that will still have the Fox name on them. We'll continue to make movies under the Fox brand and under the Fox Searchlight brand as well." Bob Iger also made an exciting comment about Disney Plus, the upcoming Disney streaming service, at the shareholder meeting. We learned that the entire Disney film library will be available on Disney Plus. That means no more Disney Vault. This is a different strategy than Disney has had in the past with the release of their films, but an interesting one nonetheless. The thing to keep in mind, though, is that Disney could change their minds at any moment and begin removing films from Disney Plus. This isn't like having a Blu-ray sitting on your shelf that you can grab at any time and pop in your player. In a sense, Disney has control over the remote and can essentially hit stop whenever they want. It may get to a point years down the line where Disney has so much original content for the platform that they no longer feel the need to make the entire library available. But only time will tell with that one. Nonetheless, it's exciting news. Now you'll be able to watch Honey, I Shrunk the Kids whenever you want. That's what y'all are excited about, right? Speaking of Disney Plus, another new series has been announced for the platform. This time, it's about the Disney villains. This series is reported to be based on the popular Villains book series published by Disney Press. Variety reports that the series will be called Book of Enchantments, and will tell the stories of the evil queen from Snow White, Ursula from The Little Mermaid, Mother Gothel from Tangled, Maleficent from Sleeping Beauty, and Beast from Beauty and the Beast. That's strange, I didn't know he was a villain. I guess I should read the book. Although this is exciting news if you're a Villains fan, you still have a while to wait. Production for the show won't begin until 2020. Speaking of villains, we got our first look at the movie poster for the sequel to Maleficent. Along with the poster image, we learned the official title of the film, Maleficent, Mistress of Evil. There's gotta be an Elvira, Mistress of the Dark crossover here, right? In some more movie news, we got new information about the next Guardians of the Galaxy film. As you may remember, last year James Gunn was fired from following up his Guardians of the Galaxy movies with a third film due to some old controversial tweets. When that happened, the primary cast stood by James Gunn. James's brother Sean Gunn, who's an actor in the films, has announced that all of the main stars will indeed be returning for Volume 3. In an interview with Variety, Sean said, "I don't know exactly how that's all gonna work, but I feel like we're gonna make the third movie. I'm excited to make it. I think it's a disservice to the fans if we didn't make it, and I know the people who worked on the Guardians movies are really a family, and we're gonna come together and make the best movie we can regardless of who's in charge." End quote. It'll be very interesting to see whether or not all of this controversy surrounding the film affects the box office. Do you all remember that famous scene in Ralph Breaks the Internet? You know the one I'm talking about, the one with all the princesses? Yeah, that one. Well, that scene was so popular that now the idea of a princess spin-off is in discussion. In an interview with the film's directors, Rich Moore had this to say. "When you're in Stockholm and they're saying, like, have you considered doing a movie just about the princesses? I think it's an idea worth exploring because everywhere we go, we hear that response. Oh my god, I love the princesses like that. Not just the scene meeting Vanellope and talking about what it means to be a princess, but then to see them in action. It does feel like there's something to that. That people are finally seeing the princesses do what you've always believed they could do, but you've never seen it before. I don't know if there's any conversations going on here seriously about a spin-off, but we've definitely heard a lot of positive response from the fans. The fans are off the charts with the ideas that are out there." Now me, I personally hope that this doesn't happen. Although I consider the scene to be funny, it seems totally off-brand to me. Anywho, nothing official yet, but still interesting to hear that it's being thought about. Now let's talk about those films that Disney fans run to the theaters to see. Yes, Disney Nature. In all honesty, I've actually seen quite a few of these Disney Nature films on the big screen, and I'm a big fan. The next Disney Nature film to be released on April 17th is Penguins. This subject matter must make Sam Gardner extremely happy. 1 billion bonus points to you if you get that non-Disney reference. Actor Ed Helms will be narrating the film, and he had this to say about it. "Disney movies are filled with poignancy and real emotion, but also are extremely funny and relatable. This movie is no different. It's a true-life adventure with real footage of penguins in Antarctica, but told in a way that tugs at your heartstrings a little and also has quite a few chuckles. For me, this movie is a very cool mashup of narration and character work. I get to voice Steve's inner monologue as well as straight narration. It was a really fun challenge for me, a privilege getting to imagine what this penguin might be thinking, and I'm really excited about it." Miguel from the film Coco has arrived at Epcot, in puppet form anyway. I watched a video of the show in World Showcase's Mexico Pavilion, and it's absolutely delightful. It is quite a bit different from the show formerly at Disney California Adventure, as it's done on a much smaller scale, but it's just as good. I highly suggest working this street entertainment into your next trip to Epcot. Tim Burton, the director of the upcoming remake of Dumbo, surprised guests at Disneyland Park when he showed up to introduce the preview currently playing in the Disneyland Opera House. Afterward, he spent some time checking out the classic Dumbo the Flying Elephant attraction, and even stuck around to sign autographs for guests. Dumbo flies into theaters on March 29th. Now let's jump to this week's Twitter poll where I asked you guys, we recently got news that Star Wars Galaxy's Edge will be opening in both locations sooner than expected, but with only one of the attractions ready. When do you want to attend Star Wars Galaxy's Edge? Your options were opening day with only one ride, wait until both rides are finished, wait for the crowds to lessen, or all of the above. In last place, you guys said opening day where there's only one ride happening. Then after that, there was 19% voting for both rides being finished, 20% said all of the above, and 53% of you said you're going to wait for the crowds to lessen. Now, if you'd like to take part in the Twitter poll, be sure to follow Dizney CTC on Twitter. That's DIZNEYCTC over on Twitter. Also, guys, head over to DisneyCoastToCoast.com and sign up to receive your list of America's Hidden Mickeys, a list of lesser-known Disney destinations around the USA. Simply head to DisneyCoastToCoast.com and click on Free Gift there. This episode of Disney Coast to Coast was produced by Philip Elke, who has supported the show through Patreon. If you'd like to become a DCTC producer or gain other rewards, including early access to episodes, live stream Q&As, behind-the-scenes access, and more, information can be found at patreon.com/DisneyCTC. That's patreon.com/DIZNEYCTC. Other than that, folks, have a magical day. Bye!
Thanks for listening to Disney Coast to Coast. Have a magical day.
Disney Coast to Coast is produced and hosted by Jeff DePauli. Learn more about the podcast and become a supporter at DisneyCoastToCoast.com.